Hey y'all, you are live with Coach Amy and JJ. We're looking for a filter.
We need it. Not cat ears.
Oh, it's just me, but I have a hat. You're the one that you wanted. Daisy
No,
crown.
I needed something to make me look like I wasn't camping.
I know. Some of them, sometimes they do. No,
We're good.
they're not doing what I want.
We don't need a filter.
Okay, so let me get all this mess off of here.
We got all this beautiful natural light. It's all right.
Yeah, we are camping at Percy Quinn. It's a beautiful lake behind us. Percy Quinn Lake. Is it Percy Quinn Lake?
It's Lake Tangipahoa.
Lake Tangipahoa. Just kidding. I know
Learn
that.
something new every day.
I know. Not my party. Okay, so this is my best friend Jennifer, and she is going to share her story, and then we're going to talk about prepping and being committed to because you're worth it, pretty much. Hey, Amanda Macon. Hey, Amanda, do you know that in the main group, like the last week, somebody named Amanda Macon made a comment, and I was like, friend, duh, blah, 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 whatever it was, and I was like, that isn't my Amanda Macon. So she thought it was quite funny. Hey, Shonda. Okay, so go ahead.
Okay. So, for those of you who do not know me, I'm Jennifer, better known as JJ to the Gaskins and half the free world now. And I learned about Trim Healthy Mama from a mutual friend of ours a little over 3 years ago. Actually told Amy about it. And I have been on plan very non-committedly for the last 3 years, but I just didn't commit. I just didn't commit. A lot of our dinners were on plan, but it was very easy to say, oh, I'm going camping, and we got to eat s'mores when we camp, and it's just easy to get convenience foods, or I'm going out of town, or we had activities in the evening. It was just one excuse, family, get together, one excuse after the other. Well, this one committed. Okay, and you see where she's at. I mean, she's doing amazing, and she is now my Trim Healthy Mama coach. Here comes Camp.
I know. Hey, go ahead. Lily, I'm doing a live. Can you keep him from over there, please?
So, anyway, I didn't commit, and that's what it is, ladies, is you have to commit. You have to know that you are worth it, and there are no excuses good enough to not commit. I think back over the last 3 years, how easily, especially while she was learning it and doing it, that I could have been right there with her. We could have been figuring it out together. We could have, and we still did a lot together, but she was seeing results the whole time, and I was staying the same. I wasn't gaining, which I was very thankful for, because I had been even heavier than I was 3 years ago. And so I wasn't gaining, but I wasn't losing. I wasn't feeling my best. I wasn't healing my body. And that's what Trim Healthy Mama does. I mean, it just feeds you so nutritiously. It just hits all those things. And for those of you who don't know me, I fully committed again really fully committed for the first time in January. I went on a trip to Disney World. If y'all see us swatting, we're camping and there's gnats everywhere. So I went on a trip to Disney World in January with my daughter, and we got back super, super late on January 8th, and I woke up January 9th without grocery shopping or anything and said, I'm doing this. And I jumped in. And from January 9th to now, I have lost 12 pounds and
go girl,
almost 10 inches. The last I measured, it was like 9.75 inches. So it's definitely doable. It's doable. I am a mom of a 20-year-old and a 16-year-old, so I'm older than her. But I'm not as busy as her. I don't have 5 kids running around. I am a drive-through Sue. I like my products clean and pure, but I like my convenience. And it's doable. It's doable. It's
sustainable is my favorite word.
Sustainable is a good one. Yes. And I'm gonna throw my mom under the bus. She's probably not watching yet, but we're camping. Okay, we are in campers. We are at Percy Quinn. She has all of her children. I have one of mine. And we have my mom and dad. And my mom has been curious, and this was the perfect time to really sit down and explain the plan to her. And I told her, I said, you know what? Don't bring anything to eat. You're just going to eat what Amy and I eat. And if we're not eating it, you can't have it. And they actually had to leave a while ago, and she's like, okay, what am I having for supper? That easy. I mean, it's so simple. We are going to have something as simple as grilled chicken breast and sweet potatoes, green beans, and a salad for supper. That's camping, y'all. I have a Blackstone griddle, and I have an Instant Pot to make it easy at the camp.
I cook my sweet potatoes in the Instant Pot at home.
Oh, well, I do too. But it's so easy and sustainable. But for 3 years, I didn't. I played with the plan, and I would say, oh, you know, I was 75% on plan today. And y'all, I'd pat myself on the back. And it did no good. It did no good. Well, it kept me from getting worse. We'll say that. It kept me from getting worse. It kept me from getting sicker. But I don't want the same old, same old. I want to fix this.
Change.
I want change. I have been breaking habits since January. It is not my go-to to just run and grab something and just be like, you know, oh, I'll hop back on plan.
Oh, she's watching now.
Oh, Mama's watching now. Good. I'm glad I talked about her a minute ago. I have made a commitment to myself, and I am worth it.
That's
okay?
Right. Amen.
I have a 20-year-old. I have a 16-year-old. And I have my family. I have my extended family. I have my family by choice. I have my friends. And I am looking at the next chapter of my life with a lot of excitement. I have 1 year left homeschooling. 1. And my daughter is looking to go to school out of state. And anybody who knows me knows that when my last child left home, I spent the 3 months before he left crying every single day. It was hard. It was hard knowing that he was leaving, and I'm going to get teary-eyed thinking about it. He is in another state. He is thriving. He's doing amazing. I'm so proud of him. But I'm at a new season, and I want to enjoy it. I want
have energy.
I want to have energy, and I want to have health. I want to have the next few years with my husband to where we have the energy and just the health to do whatever we want, to go wherever we want. Even if it is in our camper right here, 15 minutes from our house at the state park. This is my favorite park, by the way.
So before you committed in January, and even 3 years ago when we found out about Trim Healthy Mama, you were resting a lot and being just sitting.
Oh, I was very sedentary.
Sedentary.
I was very sedentary. Okay, so before we learned about Trim Healthy Mama, I went through several different periods of time where I was exhausted, where I slept a lot during the day. 8 years ago, way back when I was really my sickest, that was before we started homeschooling. My children were in our children were in public school, but my kids were in 4th grade and 7th grade. And the years right in that time and right before that, I would take my children to school. I would come home. I would set an alarm on my phone. I would lay down and I would sleep until it was time to go get my kids. I would go get my kids. I would come home. I'd help them with homework. I'd get their schoolwork done. And I would be exhausted by the time we got to go to bed. Y'all, I was sick. Now, you couldn't look at me and tell that I was sick, except for I was a little overweight. But I was sick. My body on the inside was screaming, as you always say. It was screaming. Yeah. And, I mean, you think about it. 8 years ago, I can't do math. I was like 34. 34. And I was exhausted. And that has gotten better through the years as I started cleaning up. My son had some health issues, and we started cleaning up our diet and just starting using less toxic, more clean ingredients, going to places like Whole Foods when we had the opportunity. We live in a very rural area, so we don't have that. But I was making the best choices I could every time I could. But yet we were still eating, you know, carbs and fat together, and just not choosing the best fuel sources, and a lot of convenience things. I was a queen at going to Whole Foods and finding the clean junk food.
Yeah, well, like gluten-free food, everybody says gluten-free. Well, if you need to be gluten-free, that's all well and good. But the gluten-free products at the grocery store is full of junk.
They're heavily processed.
Processed, full of fillers, and a lot of them have a lot of sugar to make it taste better than cardboard.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, I was relying on all that. And so I wasn't feeling great. And as I slowly started incorporating Trim Healthy Mama, I did feel better. But hands down, ladies, if you haven't fully committed, if you are not 100% on plan, let me be your example of saying from January to now, it is a night and day difference in the way I feel. Just hands down. If I choose to rest in the middle of the day because, you know, maybe something was going on and we've just been extra busy and I do travel a lot, it is a conscious choice. And that's where I'm at right now. I am being fully honest with myself. If I make a choice that isn't 100% Trim Healthy Mama, it is a fully conscious choice of, okay, these are my options and this is what I'm choosing, and I'm hopping right back on plan. But I'm also learning that I have bad habits to break. Junk food and sweets has always been my go-to. Always. I love me some chocolate. Give me some caramel every day of the week. I love it. But you know what? I can't go to that every time because that's not healthy.
Right.
That's not the fruit and the fuel and the foods that God gave us to nourish our bodies. That's not doing anything but satisfying my sweet tooth that I got on both sides. You know, and that's okay every now and then, but I need to learn how to be #grown woman. Okay? I need to fuel my body the right way. And yes, I just had a very hectic, kind of stressful week. I had 3 days out of town in a hotel that we were told did not have refrigerators. Turned out there was a situation where they kind of had it set up like a mini bar situation, and theirs wasn't like one of those fancy censored ones, so you could move everything out of your way and use the refrigerator. You just had to put it all back, and I was able to do that. But headed to this hotel, I didn't know it. I didn't know that that was an option for me. And so I had just thought through, okay, well, the hotel has this breakfast, and then where I'm going has this. I thought through, okay, worst case scenario, I'm going to do this.
You planned and prepared. That's so important.
I planned and prepared, and it was not perfect. I lucked up. One of my craziest, busiest days, I was with a group, and one of the ladies knew that I might not have time to order lunch, and she had actually ordered me a burger. Well, guess what, ladies? I just took the bun off. It was great. First off, it was fabulous because it was just like, I was like, what are we doing for lunch? And somebody went, here's a burger. I was like, yay! Because there's been many a time on this trip that I have not, when I was on this particular trip, that I just haven't had a meal. Like, I just had to skip. You can go almost anywhere in America and probably half the other parts of the free world and get a burger and take the bun off.
That's right.
You know, it may not be the cleanest beef. It may not be, you know, the best bacon or cheese or whatever. But you know what? It kept me on plan. It kept me fueled. And then I was able to get to a nice restaurant that evening and make an even better choice.
Right. What'd you have?
That night I had fish. I've learned
Fish is so good.
Yes. You know, Pearl and Serena talked about fish recently. I love fish, and hearing them talk about how it's just a lighter choice, a better choice almost anywhere you go. We were at a very nice restaurant, and I had, one night I had salmon. Had some lobster with it.
Wow.
And it had avocado, so it definitely was an S. And then it had a bunch of sauteed vegetables on the bottom.
Wow.
The second night, I had trout. And I knew it said it had some kind of rice. And I thought, well, you know, there's veggies, and I had a salad. And, you know, I was like, we'll just see. The rice was really good, and I had a couple bites just to taste it, and then I left I mean, when I say a couple bites, I'm not talking about like my whole, I mean, I had a few tastes because it looked really different, and I was curious. I'm like, what is this? It was really good, but I made the conscious choice that I didn't need it. There was so much fish there, and then my salad and my other vegetables, that I was able to easily have a taste, see what it was, and go on. And that's what we need to do. But you have to know your triggers. Rice is not a trigger for me.
Right.
Now, had somebody eaten with me, been there with cheesecake, and I've been like, oh, let me have a taste. Oh, well, you know, this one night won't hurt, and this one night won't hurt. And I'm not going to lie, I texted Amy and said I had a dessert one night. But y'all, it was a small portion.
Because she had to tell me.
I did. I had to tell her.
Okay, you grown woman.
Grown woman. But I made the choice after having a really good meal. I had been very active that day, and the next morning, man, I was perfect.
She reset.
But what I have to learn about myself is I can go, okay, well, it was stressful Monday, and I had a little treat Monday night, and I didn't realize how bad Tuesday was going to be, and so I had another little treat. And then Wednesday, I was just hungry, and I was on my way home, and the weather was bad, and I was driving in, and I had to stop, and you can let those pile up, lady. So if you don't have that trigger, I'm proud of you.
We all have a trigger.
But we do, and you need to be real with yourself and what you're going to do so that you can be a grown woman. But in being a hashtag grown woman, as she likes to say, you have to be willing to own up to where you are going off plan. And don't tell yourself, oh, well, I was 75% on plan yesterday and I was 85% on plan. If you aren't using an app or a meal planning sheet to track, you're probably going off plan a whole lot more than you think.
That's right.
Because it's easy to tell yourself you're doing one thing and you're not. And that's what I did for 3 years. And if I had been tracking for 3 years, I would have been horrified at how often I was allowing myself to be off plan.
And when you're using that app, you hopefully you want to be an honest person when you're taking your picture. But if you know you're going to take a picture of what you're going to eat, it's going to be right.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time, if you're making a conscious choice that you're going to have this, well, fine. But go and take the picture and be honest, because the only person you're cheating is yourself.
Right.
I mean, you're not going to hurt me. You're not going to hurt anybody else hurting yourself. So.
And I would rather, which I'm not the coach looking at anybody's app, but for myself, I would rather be able to look back, say on yesterday, I mean, yesterday was fine, but if it had been my yesterday, and seen that I had made a choice to go through Chick-fil-A and maybe have a favorite comfort food, but I can't help it. I've been trying not to read comments.
She's in my March group coaching, Shannon.
Yes, I can sometimes sound like a hick, so especially when you get me on my soapbox.
She probably don't know what a hick is.
Southern and really Southern. We'll say that. But I want to be honest with myself. I don't want to lie to myself.
Right.
Because lying to myself is no less, than anything.
But like she just said, mac and cheese. And it's good. Is it worth it?
No. It really isn't. Because I'll be honest,
Not the way I felt when I was eating that stuff.
I ate a couple of things that were off plan, like I had creme brulee. But y'all, if you go to the Caboose here locally, their creme brulee is about this big. It's shallow, but it's about this big around. The creme brulee I got was about this big around. It was really small, but even though I enjoyed every bite, I knew, like the whole time I was like, man, I used to eat like this all the time. And I knew it was super heavy and it was so sweet. And while I enjoyed that very small serving, it was like, oh, I can't do that often.
Right.
Like I knew instantly, I can't do that often. But give me... I don't know, give me some fruit. We had fruit at lunch. Amy looked at my plate at lunch and she went, that's a fuel pool, that's not an E. Are you going for an E? And I went, I was. And she said, that's a fuel pool. You need more carbs in your fruit. And man, she had cantaloupe cut up and I got to steal some and it was so good. Y'all
can go look at our 8 app and see what we ate.
Yeah, I mean, I did not miss anything at my lunch because I didn't have a dessert.
Okay. Well, Miss Karen, Jennifer's mom, she looked at my plate this morning. She was like, that looks so good. I had sauteed spinach and squash, which I normally don't eat squash in the mornings, but she loves squash, and I was cooking the vegetables. Her daddy cooked the breakfast. And then we had bacon and sausage patties, and then I had some berries. And their lunch was awesome and pretty. But Miss Karen right there, she was like, that is just beautiful. Will you cook for me every day? I was like, no. No. She said, you answered that quick.
And y'all, for those of you who have families and are thinking, yeah, but my family's not going to want that every time. We're camping, and my daddy is known to do breakfast, okay, when we camp. That was the first thing I almost said youngest, but Camp is not the youngest. No. Camp ran up to me as soon as I got here, and he said, is Papa cooking breakfast? Because they've learned that Papa Larry cooks breakfast for them when he's here, and my daddy likes to do the full-out spread with pancakes and bacon and eggs and sausage and all of it. And he actually wasn't planning to do breakfast, but he did because he knew Camp wanted it. we just didn't eat the pancakes, which you didn't eat eggs because you're avoiding eggs right now. But, you know, I'm camping, and I had eggs, and I had bacon, and I actually had a little piece of sausage because I don't do sausage often. And then she did the veggies, and it was great. And we were able to sit right there. That is the hugest thing for me. I want you to know this, especially if you're starting out. Because you look at her, not gonna lie, she's my best friend. I gotta, you know, she's been on plan and on point and rocking this. And sometimes I think, you know, yeah, but it's easy for you now. So if you're not there yet, and
your pancake look good, I'm not gonna lie.
If you're where I'm at, let me just tell you, when you commit and you stay on plan, we got 20% battery.
It's okay.
We should have started charging it more.
It's okay.
Out here, the signal's not great, so sometimes it sucks it up. But let me just tell you,
I don't even know what time it is.
I went to dinner with so many different people this week because of where I was and my activities, and in restaurants where we could order whatever. I really wasn't that tempted. Yes, I made the choice for creme brulee, but that, like I said, that was a conscious choice. That was just, it wasn't like, I gotta have it because they're having it. I was just like, they have creme brulee here. I wouldn't mind some of that. But they could have sat across from me with grits. Actually, Dale had grits for breakfast, and I'm trying to think what else he had. He had some kind of bread on his plate. But, I mean, and then Jimmy had a biscuit with his, you know, the people that I was with, they had like traditional American breakfast, and I like me some good Southern Mississippi grits. It didn't bother me at all. I ordered an omelet. The restaurant I had a egg white omelet, but it had like all kinds of stuff in it. And then I noticed that they had real eggs. I said, can I have whole eggs in this omelet? Because it had asparagus and it had a few tomatoes in it, and I did watch to make sure I didn't do too many because I was going for an S. Y'all, it was the best. And I get my plate and everybody kind of looked like, that looks good. It really isn't that tempting. Once you start and commit, your body wants the fresh.
That's right.
It wants that. It doesn't. I've always wanted fast food, you know, oh man, that's so greasy and good. And now I'm just kind of like, I want some of that. I want the fresh.
Yep. That's right. Your tastes change, your cravings change, and it's what God gave for us. I mean, I love a Wendy's son of a Baconator double, no bread, I'd lettuce with a side salad and unsweet tea. Yeah. I like that, but I don't have it maybe once a month, if that, because I do know how heavy it is. And, you know, but when we're traveling back and forth or doing something, I know I can go to it. So I don't have it often in town, like when we're around here. Yeah. But we did prep some things. She prepped and planned. She did some, is it 2-minute truffles? Oh, yes. I made some Ziploc bags. It's, I think it's My Montana Kitchen at Name of the Blood. That's where I found the recipe in the Trim Healthy Mama group. Somebody had posted the link one time, and I went and found it and printed it off, and I had kind of started following her, and it's 2-minute truffle. And I made up the powder packets. And so she just measured out the powder in 3 different packets and added the chocolate chips. Yeah. So what do you have to add to them? You have to add coconut oil, a dash of vanilla, and water. And that's it. And she just stirs it up in a mug and eats it. I mean, it's kind of like, you can roll it out into a truffle, but why? Yeah, it's kind of like cookie dough, I guess you'd say. And then I prepped all of my drinks. I've been kind of like on a kick of that just to kind of heal my gut a little better. That's what I've been doing. And so I have Earth Milk Sip, the Shrinker, and something else. One of the Choco Big Boys or something like that. I brought my apple cider vinegar and my ginger for my GGMS, and I brought a couple of tea bags in case, because I knew it would be a little cool in case I wanted something hot and warm outside throughout the day. I wouldn't reach for just a snack, and I could always just do tea if I wanted. Yep. And yesterday morning before we left, I went ahead and cooked the hamburger meat. Well, actually it was deer meat, but cooked the deer meat up and mixed up my Save My Sanity chili in my crock pot, and it started cooking. And then when Wes got here with the camper, he plugged it up and had it going, and that's what we have for supper, because the guys, you know, they just set up the camper and all that drama. So we didn't make them cook, because they're the ones that cook when we're here. They grill. We provide it, they cook it. That's right. And so tonight she told you what we're having, and for lunch we had tuna on Wassa crackers and fruit and some vegetables, and it was just so good. It's easy, and y'all can just do that at home. I'm just saying, you don't have to make 42 recipes out of the cookbook every week. You can if you want to, go for it, but you don't have to. you can just pull things. You can just make hamburgers. You can just make the grilled chicken and the sweet potatoes and us non-starchy like we were talking about. I've just been so proud of everybody that I've been coaching lately with the sweet sweatpants oatmeal, because so many women that I'm coming in contact with have thyroid problems, adrenal fatigue, hormonal imbalance and stuff like that, and they need ease. And but it's ingrained in us that carbs are bad,
Right.
and oats are not bad, sweet potatoes are not bad, fruit is not bad, and it's important to alternate. So she loves Bam cake, but it's not good if she has Bam cake for breakfast and for a snack and has another, like, you just need to have variety is the main
Balance.
point of that. Some balance. Eat the rainbow, try some different things and mix it up, because your body will get used to certain stuff, and that's when we can hit a stall. So that's a little deep learning right there, but it's just a good little point for y'all to think about.
Yeah, I mean, find your favorite things, but then mix them up. Don't just get into a rut, because you can get into a rut even with good stuff, and like I was talking about with triggers earlier. If you know that the sweet stuff is kind of your trigger, like I had noticed, I like these truffles now. But I had noticed I got into... They're an S. And so I was having them every night after supper, like later on.
You'll hit a stall.
And it was like, I'm having this
fuel pull version.
Right. I'm having this S every single night. But here's, not even if I couldn't handle having an S, you know what I noticed? I was then craving something sweet every night. And so, all I was doing was keeping my taste buds in that same rut I had been before, when I was heavier and eating so unhealthy. It was just constantly needing that sweet.
Right.
And I don't need that. It can be, just, it can be a good dessert, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I did not want to teach my body it had to have a sweet every night.
Right.
I didn't.
Brenda, so I'm not a medical professional at all, but my suggestion would be to have 2 a day, whether it's 2 meals like breakfast and supper or breakfast and lunch, whatever, or you could have 1 meal and 1 snack. That's what I would suggest. And just see how you feel. You may need more, you may need less. You may need 2 one day, 1 the next day, that kind of thing. But I would start with 2 a day.
Yeah. It's a great place to start, and it's a lot easier to do than I thought it was. When she first said that, I was not eating hardly any ease at all, and I wasn't feeling well, and I have a texture issue, okay?
I roll.
I don't like mushrooms because of the texture. It's not the flavor, it's the texture. I don't like oatmeal. I don't like... What's some other texture stuff? Coconut.
All the shakes and smoothies. She had a big aversion to those,
I was
too.
like, I can't do it. And I finally decided to try sweatpant oatmeal. I thought maybe the way it's cooked, maybe the texture will be a little bit different, and it's one of my favorites. There's several.
It cracks me up.
There's several shakes that I do now. I do the earth milk sip.
She was like, I am not even any drinks.
The Wassa crackers they look like cardboard. They are just this ugly yuck, and I really like them now. My 16-year-old daughter, when we're having lunch, I still do organics, and so I have an organic bread option there for her, but it's not sprouted because my husband just is not on board with sprouted bread. So I get him some organic bread that he likes. And
Shelby, you're not allowed to say anything else. That's it. That's your only comment, sis.
But
Almond
she
flour.
even reaches straight for the Wassa crackers. So don't think, oh, that looks gross, I'm not going to try it. Give yourself the chance to let your taste buds grow up. You think about a toddler, if all they
What
know,
did you just say?
give your taste buds a chance to grow up.
I love that.
Yeah, we are hashtag grown women, and we are going to eat like adults. We are not toddlers who need Happy
Nursery
Meals.
food. Y'all watch Downton Abbey and all that stuff. They call it nursery food.
Nursery food. Yeah, no, I don't need baby food. I don't need toddler food.
I love it.
We get into a rut of thinking our
Snaps.
kids, oh, what was I watching the other day?
I don't know.
It was a cooking show. I can't remember which one, but they were talking about feeding your family, and the host made the comment, don't dumb down your food for your kids. Don't dumb down your food for your kids. If you teach them to like flavorful things, they will like flavorful things.
She lied.
And, it just... Oh, I had to lie.
I'm not doing eggs right now, Shannon, and we had that the same, well, I don't know if you did it the same night as me, but it was on our menu for last week. And Lily made that recipe, my 13-year-old, and she said, Mama, it has eggs in it, so I'm going to make the egg whites in another pan, and when I make everybody's plates, I'm just going to put a little bit on top of everybody's but yours. And I was like, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easily accommodating for everybody. I do not cook separate meals for my husband. I love that man dearly, and there's a couple things he does that that he likes that are Trim Healthy Mama. He even ate sweatpan oatmeal the other day, but he's been having a Trimmy in the morning as his coffee. But he won't.
I want a Trimmy right now.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
We're gonna make one in a minute.
He will not touch the sprouted grain bread. He wants his organic white bread that I buy him, and that's fine. But it's so easily accommodating to all of your family's needs. My dad is a dialysis patient. We are praying for a kidney transplant for him. And while my mom is wanting to get on plan, my daddy does not need to lose any weight whatsoever. His appetite is completely gone because of the dialysis and all the medication they have him on. So pretty much if the man wants it, he can have it. We'll let him eat it. I'm not going to say anything. So she definitely, when she cooks, she needs to be very considerate of the fact that Daddy needs every meal as a crossover. Every meal for him is going to need to be a crossover. And I knew that was going to kind of overwhelm her. So as we ate last night, when we ate the Save My Sanity chili,
he ate.
He did eat. He ate a bowl. And
hey, Lindsay.
That's huge because his appetite is zilch, zero. So it was so easy to show her how to turn an Save My Sanity chili into a crossover. So simple. And then we did the same thing at breakfast. We showed her how he could do that. We showed her how he could do our lunch. It's so easy. Do not give yourself excuses that aren't real.
Right.
You're lying to yourself. You may not be ready to commit, and, that's okay.
I need a Teflon heart. I need a Teflon heart. It kind of, like it didn't offend her. It slid right off, I guess.
Yeah. My husband there's been a couple of things where he's like, not my favorite. I am blessed with a man who has never once really criticized what I put before him. I'm not the best cook. I'm learning, but I will admit when my 20-year-old was a baby and barely eating table food, I made gravy one time that the dog wouldn't eat. Okay? The baby wouldn't eat, and he ate baby food. He wouldn't eat my gravy. But my husband has never just been like, psh, I'm not eating that. You're going to cook what I want. I know that there are some men who were raised differently, and they have different expectations. And so you might have a different challenge there. But my husband is not on plan. But at supper time, I cook one meal. But I know what his taste and preferences are.
Right, you work that.
Yeah, if I know...
Don't make something weird.
Right. If I know the man is not going to touch tofu, I'm not going to cook it. I'm not touching tofu, but I couldn't think of anything else. Like if I know he does not like chicken for some reason, I wouldn't make that his main meal and expect him to eat it happily.
Right.
If she brings me something coconut, I'm not going to like it. I don't care. I'm not. So I play to his taste because that's what I can do as his wife to provide. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overcomplicate it. So
good. That was awesome. I love that.
Fly by the seat of our pants camping, but
that's right. Well, if you're just hopping on, we're gonna get off because we've got to go
feed our families,
feed them children, and make us some coffee, I think. But I'm gonna finish the video, and then y'all can watch the replay. Have a happy Saturday. Bye-bye.